Hi, this is Kanaya, and today we're going to talk about what does it mean to show empathy. Showing empathy means understanding and sharing the feelings of another person. It involves putting yourself in their shoes, recognize their emotions, and responding in a way that acknowledges their experience. Empathy goes beyond simply feeling sorry for someone's sympathy and involves actively trying to understand their perspective and how they feel. Here is a more detailed look. Understanding. Empathy requires the ability to grasp the other person's emotions and thoughts. Sharing. It involves feeling a connection to their experience, even if you haven't personally gone through the same situation. Responding. Showing empathy includes communicating your understanding and support to the other person through words and actions. Examples of showing empathy: actively listening to someone and showing genuine interest in their feelings, validating their emotions by saying things like, that makes sense that you would feel that way, offering support and asking, how can you or how you can help, putting yourself in their place to see things from their perspective, sharing in their joy or sadness, celebrating the achievements with enthusiasm. In a sense, showing empathy is about connecting with another person on an emotional level and letting them know they are understood and supported. What does it mean to put yourself in someone else's shoes? To put yourself in someone else's shoes means to try to understand a situation from their perspective, considering their feelings, thoughts, and experiences is a way of practice empathy and attempting to see the world through their eyes. The idiom suggests that by imagining yourself in their situation, you can better understand their point of view and why they might act or feel in a certain way. Here's more Here's a more detailed breakdown. Understanding perspective is about shifting your focus from your own viewpoint to consider the other person's unique circumstances, background, and experiences. Empathy. The phrase is closely linked to empathy, which is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person beyond assumptions. While it involves imagining yourself in their situation, it's critical to avoid projecting your own experiences and assumptions onto them. Active listening. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes often involves actively listening to their perspective and acknowledging their feelings. Impaired Improve communication and relationships. By understanding others better, you can communicate more effectively, resolve conflict more easily, and build stronger relationships. So, so now, so you can do, so we can say, so now the third question I want to ask, where can you show empathy? So now, so now I can answer this question. So now, where can you show empathy? So You can show empathy at school. So you can show empathy at school, workplace, or at home. Or or it could be somewhere like the rest. You can show it like at the restaurant, like if you're working there, or you can show it at the person's house if necessary. So even even if empathy shows that, so let's see, what place can you show empathy? Because even though a workplace, so yes. So now, empathy, yeah, sorry guys, empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another can be shown in many different places and situations. It's not limited it's not limited to a specific location, but rather a way of interacting with others that can be appealed in personal relationships, the workplace, and even absorbing and responding to the experience of those who don't personally know. Here's are some examples. Here are some specific examples in personal relationships at home. So at home, you're offering a listening ear to a family member going through a tough time, validating their feelings and offering support. With friends, showing up when a friend is in need, being present during their struggles, offering a shoulder to cry on. With romantic partners, actively listening to their concerns, validate their emotions, and offering comfort and support. With children, understanding their perspective even when they are upset, and responding with patience and understanding. And professional setting and healthcare, actively listening to patients, understand actively listening to patients, understand their concerns and offering comfort and reassure. In the workplace, being aware of colleagues' emotions, offering support during stressful times, and creating a safe place for open communication and customer service. So let's say in the workplace, let's go back to the workplace for a second. So let's say the managers or the employees or the customers are being rude to each other, right? So they might let the manager know that they was being rude to them or they was mistreating them, you know? So so now we can go to the customer service. In customer service, understanding a customer's frustration and offering solutions with patience and understanding. And social contact, observing others, recognizing when someone is feeling lonely or isolated and offering a kind word to gesture, reacting to current events, understanding the impact of global events on individuals, and offering support through donations or other means. And conflict, trying to understand the other person's point of view and finding common grounds. Essentially, empathy can be shown anywhere you encounter another person, whether it's a close friend or a stranger on the street. The key is to be present, actively listen, and try to understand the other person's perspective and feelings. So, so now, what does it mean? So let's see. So let's see some scenario. So I'm gonna give you guys some scenarios of putting yourself in someone else's shoes. So putting yourself in someone else's shoes means imagining how another person feels or thinks in a specific situation, fostering empathy and understanding. This involves considering their perspective, experiences, and possible motivations rather than projecting your own feelings or assumptions. Here are some examples. You overhear a friend complain about a difficult test. Putting yourself in their shoes involves considering the stress they're experiencing, the possible implications of failing, and how their feelings might be difficult from your own if you were in their situation. So, let's say if a friend is complaining about a difficult test and they not going to be able to figure it out, so what you can do is you can try to let them know that you're not going to be able to help them on a test. So let's say what can you do if if a friend if a friend is complaining, let's see, about a hard test, because sometimes the test could be hard, but we can try to figure it out, or we can try the best that we can. So if your friend is complaining about a hard test, here are some things you can do to support them. Number one, acknowledge and validate their feelings. Listen actively. Let them vent about their frustrations and fear. Show empathy. Acknowledge how difficult the situation must be for them. Validate their emotions. Let them know it's okay to feel upset or disappointed, because they're not expecting, or they don't expect the test to be easy. So sometimes the test might be a challenge for them, and they'll have to figure it out. And you can let them know, I can see how hard the test is, but we can try to figure it out. Number two, offer support and encouragement. Remind them it's just one test. One exam doesn't define their abilities or future success. Focus on efforts. Encourage their hard work and dedication, even if the outcome wasn't what they hoped for. Share your own experiences. If you faced if you if you're faced with similar academic challenges, sharing your own struggles can help them feel less alone. Number three, help them move forward. Suggest a break. Encourage them to take a break from studying to clear their heads and recharge. Help them create a plan. If they're open to it, discuss strategies for improvements, like finding a tutor or trying new study technique, or you can try to tutor them to make sure they study good or they study well. Encourage professional help. If you're concerned about their well-being, suggest they talk to a counselor or a therapist. Number four, cheerful distractions. Suggest a fun outing. Plan an activity to help them take their minds off the test, like watching a movie or going for a walk. Remind them of their other strength. Help them boost their self esteem by complimenting them on their other talents and successes. Important reminders is be patient and understanding. Stress can affect people in different ways. Avoid negative comments or comparisons. Like, don't make fun of them. Avoid negative comments or comparisons. Don't make fun of them or compare their performances or don't compare their performance to yours. Be sensitive to their feelings. Don't pressure them to talk about the test if they're not ready. Take care of yourself. Supporting a friend through a difficult time can be draining, so remember to prioritize your own well being. So let's go back to compare their performances to yours. So let's see. Let's see what it means for a second, because not everybody knows this expression. So let's see. So, so to compare their to compare their performances to yours means to evaluate how well someone else or a group of others is doing in a particular area in relation to your own performances in the same area. So here's a more here's a more breakdown of what that entails. Benchmarking is a form of benchmarking, which is the process of measuring and comparing your performances against a reference point. Identifying strengths and weaknesses. The purpose of this comparison is to identify areas where you excel and areas where you may need to improve. Contests and goals. You're placing your own performance in a broader context to see how you stack up and whether you're meeting or exceeding expectations. Learning and improvement. By analyzing how others achieve their results, you can gain insights into best practices and lessons learned that inform your own strategies and help you improve. Think of it like this. In business, companies compare their sales figures, customer satisfaction ratings, or market share to those of their competitors to gauge their success and identify opportunities for growth. In academics, students might compare their grades to their peers to understand their standings and pinpoint subjects where they need to study harder. In sports, athletes compare their performances metrics like speed, accuracy, or distance to competitors to measure progress and refine their training. In short, comparing performances to others provides valuable context and helps you learn, grow, and strive for excellence. So that's what compare their performances to yours are. I'm gonna find easier way to explain this. So so what does it mean when you compare yourself? By comparing ourselves to others, we're negating our own world, and demanding that the past be different than what it was. So, the demands we place on ourselves to be like those we're comparing ourselves may sometimes be motivations for charge. However, they are more likely to lead to feelings of this diminished self-worth. So, 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 so now let's see what's an easier way. Let's see what does it mean to to com to compare yourself to compare your partners to theirs. So comparing your performances to theirs means evaluating how well you're doing by contrasting your results, skills, or actions with those of another person or group. So So it says this can involve analyzing both your strengths and weaknesses in relation to the other party, and it could be a way to gauge your progress and identify areas for improvements or simply understand your standing in a given context. So let's go back to empathy for a second. Let's see. So it says, don't, let's see. So it says, don't make fun of them or compare their performances to yours. So let's see. Compare yours. So yes. So let's see. Let's go to let's go to scenario number 2. So let's go so scenario number 1 is solved. Now we can go to scenario number 2. You are in an argument with a coworker. Putting yourself in their shoes means trying to understand their point of view, why they might be upset, and what might have led to their frustrations rather than assuming their reactions are solely personal. So so let's see, what can you do? So what can you do if a coworker coworker let's see so it says, what can you do if you if So it says, what can you do if you're in an argument with a coworker? So if you're in an argument with a coworker, it's best to address the issue directly and calmly, focusing on finding a solution rather than derailing on a conflict. If that doesn't work, seek meditation or talk to your manager. So, or you can address, I don't like the way that coworker is talking to me. Would you mind talking to the coworker for me? I'll appreciate it. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Number 1. Stay calm and analyze the problem. Don't react in anger. Take a moment to cool down before addressing the issue. Understand the root cause. Think about what triggered the argument and what can you do to resolve it. Identify common grounds. Look for areas where you can agree with your coworker, even if you disagree on other points. Number 2. Address the conflict directly. Schedule a private conversation. Choose a time and place where you can talk without interruptions. Communicate clearly and respectfully. Explain your perspective and listen to your coworker's viewpoint. Focus on solutions. Instead of blaming, work together to find a resolution that satisfies both of you. Be willing to compromise. Sometimes a successful resolution requires both parties to make concessions. Number 3. If a direct communication fails, seek meditation. If you're unable to resolve the conflict on your own, consider asking a neutral third party like your manager or a HR representative to mediate the discussion. Talk to your manager if the conflict is significantly impacting your work or the team. It's appropriate to inform your manager. Um, Number 4. After the argument, acknowledge the conflict. Don't pretend it didn't happen. Acknowledge the tension and express your desire to move forward. Focus on the future. Avoid rehashing the argument. Concentrate on building a positive work relationship moving forward. Maintaining professionalism. Even if you don't agree with your coworker, treat them with respect in future interactions. So, scenario number 3. You are in a job interview. Putting yourself in the shoes of the interviewer means considering what they're looking for a candidate, the question they might ask, and how their expectations might differ from your own. So, let's say you're in an interview and you're looking for a job and they want to know, why are you the best fit for the job? Or why do you want to why do you choose this position? Let's think about that. So imagine you're at the job interview and they're looking for a candidate. So what you can do is, what job so they want to see if you're the right fit for the job, and let's say you want to work as a cashier, and let's say why, and then you explain reasons why do you want to work as a cashier, or what can you do is, I want to work at a cashier is because I'm well with handling money, or I can or I can handle money, or I can give the customer the right change or whatever. So So even though how would so let's see how would their expectation different from yours? Let's see. So how's from your own at the job interview? At the job interview. So in a job interview, your expectations as a candidate might differ from the employer's in several key areas. Here's a breakdown of potential differences and how to address them. Number one, work life balance. Candidate experience. Let's see, hold on. In a job interview, your expectations as a candidate might differ from the employers in several key areas. Here's a breakdown of potential differences and how to address them. Number one, work-life balance. Candidate expectations. Many job seekers prioritize work-life balance and expect employers to support this. They may want flexibility in hours or locations like remote work options or reasonable work hours. Employers' expectations. Employers want employees who are dedicated and reliable, meeting deadlines and being present when needed. Addressing the difference. Be transparent about your needs regarding work life balance, inquire the company policies, and look for roles that align with your preferred work environment. Number two, compensation and benefits. Candidate expectation. Candidates expect competitive salaries and comprehensive benefits package that reflects their skill and experience. Employer expectation. While employers want qualified candidates, they also have budget limitations. Addressing the difference. Research instruction salary ranges beforehand and be prepared for discuss your salary expectations, focusing on a range rather than a specific number. Number three, career growth and development. Um, Candidate expectation. Job seekers want opportunities for professional development growth within the company and clear career path. Employer expectation. Employers want employees who are eager to learn and grow, but the specific timeline and availability of opportunities may vary. Addressing the difference. Inquire about training opportunities, mentorships, programs, and career advancement possibility with the company during the interview. Number four, company culture. Candidate expectation. Candidates seek companies with a strong mission, inclusive culture, and a supportive work environment. Employer expectation. Employers look for candidates who fit well into existing team dynamics and workplace culture. Addressing the difference. Addressing the difference. Research the company's culture and values beforehand and discuss your preferred work environment during the interview to assess cultural fit. Number five, transparency and communication. Candidate expectation. Candidate value clear communication from the start of the hiring process, including detailed job description, transparency about salary and benefits, and timely updates. Employer expectation. Employers may have a specific progress in place, and communication may not always meet the candidate's desired level of details or timelines. Addressing the difference, ask specific questions about the role, expectations, and next steps in the hiring process to ensure clarity. In summary, it's critical to research the company, understand their mission, values, and workplace culture, clarify expectations, ask specific questions about the role, responsibilities, and performance objective. Let's see. Be honest. Articulate your own expectations while demanding flexibility and a willingness to adapt. Focus on mutual benefits. Highlight how your expectations and contributions can align with the company's goals. By actively engaging in a two-way dialogue and being open about your expectations, you can ensure a better understanding between yourself and a potential employer, leading to a more successful and fulfilling employment relationship. So, scenario number 4, you're helping someone with a difficult task. You're helping someone with a difficult task. Putting yourself in their shoes means acknowledging their challenges, offering support, and helping them feel understood and validated. So, the reason why you're helping them with a difficult task is you're helping them understand their real you're helping them understand the difficult tasks that they're doing, or they don't know what the task is or how you should do the task. So now it's good to put yourself in someone else's shoes, whether you're in school or at the workplace or at home. So yes, so in school, so now because of the fact that in school they might tell you for bullies and stuff like that. So it says putting yourself in someone else's shoes means try to understand another person's feelings and thoughts and experience by imagining yourself in a situation is a way to practice empathy and building stronger connections with others. This concept is used in education to teach students about perspective talking and social emotion learning. Here's a breakdown. Empathy. The core idea behind putting yourself in someone else's shoes is empathy, which is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Perspective talking. It involves actively trying to see a situation from another person's point of view, considering their background, experiences, and emotions. Social emotion learning. The skill is critical for developing healthy relationships, resolving conflict, and promoting a positive school environment. How it's used in schools. Classroom activities. Teachers often use scenarios like role playing and discussion to help students practice empathy and perspective talking. So, in other words, if let's say if another student is picked on at school and this group of kids was telling you, oh, this person called me stupid, or this person called me retarded, or this student called me an idiot. That's what they might call you in terms of, or the person judged me or picked on me because of my appearances. So in life, you can take some of the information that they give you and address it to this person. So let's say, so the reason why, so the reason why, so now, so the reason why they feel that some type of way, or the reason why they feel that way, because you bullied them and you called them names and you judged them based on their appearances. So the first thing that we don't do is we don't call them names to make them feel uncomfortable, and you can't bully them because you don't know what challenges that they might be facing. So the best thing we'll do is, in the future, we can't call the students names because it makes them feel uncomfortable and it makes them not want to be your friend. So the first thing you'll do is simply apologize to them for name. So the first thing you do is you apologize for them for name calling. So that's what you're gonna take. So, so the first thing you do, you listen to their perspective first. Take some of the information that they give you, and address it to the person who started this problem or who started the drama. You know. So, anti-bully programs. Understanding how others feel can help students recognize and address bullying behavior and create a more supportive environment. Conflict resolution. When students can see things from another person's perspective, they are better equipped to resolve disagreements peacefully. Building relationships. By understanding and responding to the feelings of others, students can form stronger friendship and connections. Example: if a student is upset about not being picked for a team, someone practicing empathy might think, if I were feeling left out and disappointed, I would feel sad. I should try to comfort them and let them know it's okay to feel that way, because of the fact that this person wasn't picked for a team, so they picked someone else for a team. I don't want to be left out in that situation. So, so yes, I would feel upset too if I was left out for a team and didn't get picked for a team. So I would let them know is I would ask them, like, is there any reason why I wasn't picked for a team? Or why did you choose someone else for a team and not pick me for a team? So that's what we can do is we can try to ask them questions based on what someone else might have felt in that situation. So let's see what perspective talking is. So let's see, per, perspective talking is. So perspective talking is the ability to understand and consider another person's point of view, thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It involves stepping outside of one's own perspective and trying to see the situation from another person's vantage point. The skill is critical for social interactions, empathy, and effective communication. Here's a more detailed explanation. Understand others' perspective. Perspective talking allows individuals to grasp how others perceive a situation, what they might be thinking or feeling, and what their motivations might be. Going beyond one's own point of view. It's about recognizing that others might have different beliefs, values, and interpretations than oneself. Developing empathy and social skills. Perspective talking is a key component of empathy, enabling individuals to connect with others on an emotional level and fostering prosocial behaviors. Benefits in various contexts. This skill is valuable in personal relationship, professional setting, and social interactions, promoting better communication, conflict resolution, and cooperation. Cognitive effective components. Perspective taking can involve both cognitive, understanding the other person's thoughts, and effective understanding their emotional components. Distinction from empathy. While closely related, perspective talking is distinct from empathy, which involves feeling the same emotion as another person. Perspective talking is about understanding their perspective, while empathy is about feeling with them. So it's kind of like same thing with empathy. It's like putting yourself in someone else's shoes and be able to understand about what situation that they're in. So it's like understand like how they might feel or think or how they might think. So it well like understanding how someone else might think or feel. So in this situation in school, you might be getting bullied in school and you never know what challenges that they might not know what challenges that they'll be going through. So like even though like I would feel upset too if I was being bullied by someone and stuff like that. So that's how so yes, we're gonna role play this a little bit more to try to understand what empathy what empathy that you can come up with so that you guys can understand what empathy is all about and what concerns do you have for them. Because not everybody is happy in the situation and you want to be there to help them. So now we learn that empathy is about understanding their thoughts and feelings about the particular situation and what is it like to be in someone else's shoes. And we also learn about perspective talking, which is kind of like empathy. It's about putting yourself in other people's shoes. So now I hope you like, subscribe, and comment down below on my YouTube video. Thanks for watching.